So we're about to make a BlackJack application. And we're gonna make the application using Rails. Um, oh no, wait, BlackJack? Yeah, BlackJack. Where BlackJack is the game where you have cards and you try to get 21. Um, so first, before we create this application, we gotta think about the structure of the application so that we can make it. So to visualize what it's going to be, let's draw it out. So if we think about what do we want the first page to look like when the user comes to our little website for BlackJack. So the first page would be, just think about it like a casino. You walk into a casino. What's the first thing you do? You you go to the cashier, whatever the guy is, and you give your money and they give you chips. So the home page would be, not home page, but the first page would be, um, let's call it a cash in. Cash in. So they're cashing in the money they want to bet. So then you will have probably an input box where they input some number, the amount of money they have, and we'll have something like "Welcome to BlackJack." Um, welcome. Yeah, you get the point, and then say, please input how much money you would like to play with. And then there's going to be some submit button. They're going to click the submit button and it's going to take them to another page. Well, no, before that, where's the eraser? So they're going to click the submit button and I should just cut that off. Okay. The second page. Now let's think about what's the second page we need. Where is this gonna take us to? So this is gonna take us to the bet page where people can choose how much they want to bet for the newest round. This is the bet page. There's going to be some kind of input for them to put how much of their money, how much of their cash do they want to bet. $200 and then submit. And then from there, it should now go to the game page. The game page is like, just think about it like the table where the game is being played. You got, where the cards are out. So you'd see, this is BlackJack, so you'd probably see the dealer's cards. And then you'd see your cards. Because BlackJack is not like a group game. I think it's just individual game against you, against the dealer. And then, of course, you would have your buttons, let's say like hit, stay, and then if you bust, if you lose, it'll give you some pop warning telling you lost, and then a button will appear saying play again. If you click that button, it'll take you back over here. And if you're out of money, because you bet all of your money, then it won't show any of these buttons, and it'll show another button, and it'll say restart. And if you click restart, it should take you back to this page. So that's the basic layout of what the BlackJack application we're going to code is going to be. Before we get into making it, I want to go over the different requests we're going to use. Now, if you remember from last lesson from Hello World, you should remember, or I hope you understand, what we went over about the HTTP request, which is the GET requests and the POST requests. Everything they have to do in the router with writing the different addresses to your website. And that was like, if you don't remember, it was like GET slash home apostrophe then comma to specific controller and its action. So if you remember what a GET request is, a GET request was only for when a user just wants content from a website. He doesn't want to actually save anything into the database. He's not sending in anything private. It's just a request to a website to see one of their pages. That's a GET request. So in our case, for this BlackJack application, the GET request would be these three: cache, bet, and let's call it game page. Game page. Because for all three of these pictures, you're just asking for content. If someone searches in the cache-in page, it's just showing them the welcome words, the please input something, this input box, but they're not actually input anything. They're not sending anything to you by searching in the cache-in. This is simply where they input it into. Same thing over here, they're asking for the bet page so that they can see the stuff. And same thing with the game page. Every time they search that address, it's simply just showing them content, showing them the cards that they have and their options. Now, so these are all the get commands, what you can actually visually see on a computer or browser. But most of the addresses majority of addresses that we're going to make are going to be POST requests, which is, again, requests that are either private, need to be like protected with security, or information that you're giving to the website server to save into the database. And if you try to think about when do you need to use a POST request for this application, and that could be simplified to when do we need to save anything into the website server. Alright, there's several things we gotta save. We gotta save your name, the player's name, we gotta save the amount of cash they cash in, so cash, or you could call it a purse. You gotta save how much they bet each round, so bet or a wager. And what's another thing that they need to do? We need to save bet. We need to save a deck. We need the website to say just write deck. Because think about it, we're taking cards out of the deck. There's only 52 cards in a deck. If I deal out 4 cards, there should then be 48 cards in a deck. And we're playing with that same deck. We're not just playing with an unlimited amount of cards. We need to save the player's cards. And we need to save the dealer's cards too. The dealer's cards. Dealer. Cards. And I think that's about all the information we need to save. So now, if you think about when do you do this? When do you save the player's name? Uh, Probably right after the cash-in page, because you go to the cash-in page, which is the GET request, and then it gives you this web page, and it tells you, "Welcome. Please enter your name." You input your name, Austin Kim, and then you submit it, and that's where it needs to be a post request. The submit button is actually, it's not just some button that submits stuff. It's the same thing as you searching a URL. You know, when you search a URL at the top, you say www dot blah blah blah. A button where you submit information is actually just the same thing, except that it's not a GET request. Everything that's searched in the top browser bar of your, the top search bar of your browser is a GET request no matter what you do. But the button is you can make it into a post request. So if you need a post request, they can click on the button and it'll send a specific address that is a post request to the website server. Whereas over here, you can't do that. So say the post request is like called google/home.com. It was a post request, and it had to be a post request for the server to receive it and be able to do stuff with it. Then for the button, it would work. But if I searched in the same thing in the browser bar, search bar, and I said www.google/home, it would send in www.google/home to this web server, but it would send it as a GET request, so it wouldn't work. So that's the difference between not difference, but that's what basically is a submit button. It's sending an address to a web server, except you can make it a post request, which is why it's used for when you input information like your name. So I input Austin Kim, I click this submit button to a specific address to my server, and it's as a post request, and that specific address that's a post request will be in charge of saving the player name. So after it saves the player name, it'll redirect the user to the bet page, which is a GET request. So then you get you see this page, and it says how much you want to bet, and again you have this input, which this a form. That's what it's called. A form is anything that has input for a user to input information, and a submit button. This can be a login. This can be when you search anything on Google. This is a form. So this is, what was I talking about? So over here, you got the form, and you submit it, and that submit goes to a specific address, and that address is in charge of saving the bet. And actually, I forgot. Cash-in. Cash-in is not just for your name; it's also to input how much cash you have. So you input like Austin Kim, and then there'd be another box, and you input like $1,000. And then, so now we're back at bet. You input it, we save bet through a specific route and controller action, which is a post. And then it doesn't actually go directly to the game page. It goes to another address that's a post request, where it then saves a new deck of cards, and it deals out 2 cards to the player, which is you, and then 2 cards to the computer, which is the dealer, and it saves those 2 into the web server. And then after that, it then sends it to the game GET request, where it shows 2 cards that you have and the 2 cards the dealers have, and then different options. and then from there, you got the hit buttons, you got the stay button. If you click hit, that's a post request to the server, where the server then saves a card into your your uh, your player cards. So that information is saved into the website, and then it comes back. It redirects to the main get game page, and then the new results shown is another card. And then if you bust, you bust. And yeah, we'll get into that stuff later. But this is all the post request stuff. So while these are all the posts, all the visual stuff over here, these are all the get requests. The get. And with that, we'll start making the BlackJack app.